Jeray Grad, a former daycare worker in Grand Forks, has been sentenced for mistreatment of a child. Under a plea agreement, a felony charge of child abuse was dropped, and Grad pled guilty to misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency of a minor. She's been sentenced to 70 hours of community service in lieu of 7 days jail. For more background on all this, here's our original report following the initial charge in October of last year. 22-year-old Jeray Grad of Grand Forks, who was working as an employee of Hopeful Beginnings Daycare at the Grand Cities Mall in Grand Forks on October 15th, has been charged with felony-level child abuse for allegedly reading from the criminal charge, quote, forcefully slammed Jane Doe to the ground, unquote. Now, I talked with the child's mother, who says the victim is a 1-year-old girl. In part, reading from the affidavit of probable cause, this is from the officer who investigated the incident and watched a video of it taped by another employee. Quote, the video depicted Jeray Grad holding the child, thrusting the child up and away from her, and violently pulling the child back toward her. In the video, the child was screaming and crying, and I observed the child's head snap backwards, then forward in a violent fashion. The video continued, and it shows Jeray holding the child high from the ground, then forcefully slamming the child to the ground. The child was slammed to the ground so forcefully that her legs were thrown back and her lower torso, hips, and top of her legs struck the ground. While watching the video, the child was crying and screaming and continued to cry after the assault. After I watched the video, this is the officer speaking, I spoke with the employee who took the video. I asked what made her start recording in the first place, and she stated that Grad was burping the child, and she believed the force seemed excessive. On October 19th, 4 days later, the officer conducted follow-up and attempts to speak with Jeray at her home. He continues, I was able to speak with Jeray about the incident, and when asked, she stated she did not have much memory of it as it all blurred together. After Jeray Grad stated those things just blurred together, she went into detail about the child's position when she slammed her into the ground. The officer then asked Grad how she was feeling at the time of the incident, and she reported, I was a little mad, a little frustrated. Jeray stated she threw the child and dropped her down to get her to stop crying. The officer was able to review the care report on the child. The care report shows the child started experiencing drainage from her right ear and had been unusually irritable and fatigue and decrease in appetite. Again, that's from the affidavit of probable cause. Again, that was our original report from October of last year. Grad now sentenced under a plea agreement to 70 hours of community service. I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.